What's going on, traders? Are you guys ready to witness either a power hour rally or maybe a power hour fade over here? Let's find out. I'm looking at the market right now. Let's take a look here and see what we're seeing right now. We look like we're starting the rally here. I had this little feeling that the tech names were leaning and getting ready for this, but let's take a look here. Q's staying stronger than the SPY today. This is how I saw the market. This is on a 5-minute here for the Q's. And we just recently had this 378.50 pullback. That was the last pullback. I want to see it go through the VWAP. Now I want to see it get through the high, the 379.50. If I'm looking for this to run, right? If I'm part of the Q bulls here today, we'll talk a little bit about my trading action. I got 6 swing trades on. Yes, I said it's 6. And I had 3 yesterday, added 3 today. Let's talk all about those. We'll also talk about the loss that I did have. I did have 1 loss on Coinbase. I got out on Coinbase today. I will let you guys know that one as this one pulled back. Of course, I didn't want to hold too much, so I took a small stop out at 82.75. That's all the way up here, right? I didn't want to hold it if it was going to pull back about half the amount. So I could see that it did pull back about half the amount. And you can see the 50% holding really well here. That's around the $80 spot. So I could take another attempt at this today towards the end of the day. I think this looks good off the 80s and could have a really good day tomorrow. I don't want to miss coin, but at the same time, I got to be careful here, right? That's why I got out early. If I get back through my levels, I want to come back into this name. Of course, it's about $3 higher. So should I go after it here at 80? I'm fighting myself. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think about the Coinbase situation? All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at the other stocks because I want to take a look at the leadership. I've been talking about it. Who has Apple? You know it's your boy Money Mitch here is pushing pretty strong, now up 1.63%. I haven't sold any of this position from 185.98. Looking for this to continue. This is how I saw Apple today. Nice 15-minute recovery as it came back here towards the hourly support, now pushing to 189. I actually was thinking about taking some profits here towards the gap fill, right? So I have an order out here to take some out at 190.62s. Why? Because if it comes into this gap and fills that, I want to at least take some profits, right? If I could get this gap fill here, that's not a bad little profit take, right? So we'll see what happens if it can get up there. Of course, why am I playing this? I've talked about it. It's all about the iPhone play, but this was setting up, and that's why I thought we could get a little bit of a rally. Let's take a look at the other names that I thought could get a nice little push here. Google's remaining strong here, and I'm thinking, okay, so I see the 15. I see a lot of resistance right above here. Will we get that break above towards the 138.50s? And then I see Amazon with a really nice move here. I actually wanted to take it at 138. I just didn't want to go into too many names today, but I'll give you guys some of the other ones that I'm in. And this was a pretty 15-minute pullback. Look at this action right here. This is a nice little pullback. Held those pullbacks, came right back. Nice little flag action, right back up. We'll see if it can take out the high here towards the end of the day. A push back through 138.80s into the 139s is going to having this look really good on the daily. We were talking about it. Amazon was setting up. And I also said that if Amazon got moving, Shop would get moving and vice versa, really. We were looking at them both. Look at the Shop move today. What a move there, guys. It got the lift in the morning. It got the upgrade. So that definitely helping it out. So Canaccord Genuity upgrading Shopify to buy. Genuity upgrading Shopify to buy and raising the price target to 70 there. And the Amazon mention really lifting this up. So these are 2 stocks that I would say are really hot right now. So I'm going to continue to watch these because at the end of the day, Amazon had a really good report and it was just pulling back. Now it's starting to get hot. This could continue to make a move. So I also was looking at some other names in the market to see if they start getting strong. And Tesla was one that's been strong as of late. Had a little bit of a sideways day, but ending towards the top end of the range is a good outlook here. Take a look at the hourly chart. What did we get today? hourly pullbacks towards around the 255. Now let's see if we can take out the hourly resistance around the 260s. If it can go to 260s and continue through, this won't be looking too bad there on Tesla. And Meta was actually looking pretty interesting today. Look at these hourly pullbacks in the pre-market, holding pretty well. Now it's trying to get back up above this resistance and start to hold. If we can get into the 299s, the 300s, this is actually going to be looking interesting. And this is a kind of a reversal action on this. Now, if we cut back below the 290s, that's where you got to be careful. Now, let's talk about what are the things that I'm seeing in the markets that could be a sign of concern. Well, a sign of concern is still the financials here. I've talked about this before, and I want to keep iterating this because a lot of the times, what do you see? A lot of times, what do you see is the media start talking about things after the fact that they happen. That's what I try not to do here so much on Start Swing Trade, right? Talk about things after they happen. No, let's talk about things that we could be looking out to protect ourselves. And like always, take everything I say with a couple of grain of salts and do your own research to understand what the outlook is here. But like always, a lot of times I'm going to wave the flag and draw warning signs when I see warning signs out there in the market, whether that be to the bull side or to the bear side. In this case, it's to the bear side in the financials. And you guys can see how much this has been leaking as of late. This is the daily chart, right? Another way to look at this, of course, is by using the spiders, right? You can just go to the XLF. Look how this has pulled back now and is rejecting this trend line. This, I think, is very important. As it looked to get back up there and probably caught a little bit of buyers, it just couldn't get right back to those levels. Now, as of recent, you guys can take a look at the recent action in JPM. Today, we start going back to that trend line and we reject, also making another leg lower. Take a look at Bank of America today. That doesn't look good, guys. This looks like it wants to break this long-term trend line here. And we could extend this and make this big here so you can see it. Now, cut down through the 28s is going to be looking really bad there for Bank of America. So if there's one thing that can turn around this market, it's, of course, the regional bank concern and things like that. So today I was watching regional banks and think, okay, if we're going to get a fade towards the end, I would think I would want to see these really weak. This actually looks decent right now. But, of course, on the hourly, it's still just hanging on by a thread. If we knock back down through this 44.25, going into the 44s and the 43s, it's going to be looking like this is just what? Just a bear flag on the daily and then getting hit right back down. So you guys can see that. Let's go to the scratch board so I can draw that flag action for you guys. And you guys can see right here, I already had this drawn. Look at that flagging action. Look how that kind of keeps holding. If we can get a move down here, it's not going to be looking good here for the regional banks. And that is my only kind of sign of concern here. Because now that we got out of some new numbers and we did get inflation numbers today, Q's kind of reacted positively to that. And I think that this gives an ability for a lot of people to buy some tech names. And yes, I was thinking that maybe we'd get a pullback today. So I was able to play some names on the downside for the day trade, which was AMC on my prop account. I was able to short here in the 1350s, taking down top profits down there towards 1280s. Wasn't a bad trade at all. It was a really nice trade there. I also went after a little bit of HE to the short side. Was able to make a really small profit here from around the 1405 down to the 1385s. And I just took all the profits and ran with it. And then I did go after SQQQ. I ended up getting a small loss on this one as it went back here, right here through the 54s. But this wasn't a bad position at all either. It eventually did get a little bit of a pop there to 1785s. So I was trying to see if they'd get some downside action, but it just didn't stay in there. And then I started seeing the market reverse. And then I started looking at names, right, in the tech names that could stay strong. One of the ones that I wanted to go after was SMCI. And I got stopped out of this in my trade the pool account by maybe about 5 cents, guys. I was in here around the 275 and I was trying to hold here off the 273, like 60 area. And it just went bid here under and cut me out. But look where it is now. Not a bad entry and not a bad outlook. Just probably didn't give myself enough room there. And it's already there almost to the 280s. That would have been an interesting trade. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go after some other ones here in the swing trade account. Let's go for it. So I went after CRM. And just to give you guys perspective, I'm just slightly green on this. 222.41 is what I have. So this was just recent. And I'm looking to see if CRM could start reversing. They had a pretty decent daily candle on Wednesday, right? They had their AI. I'm looking for it to kind of hold here and then get right back up. We'll see what happens if it can get this nice little push towards the close. And I know my out. I'm going to get to 221 and look for a really tight trade here. About $1.40 on the risk, but small sizing gives me that ability to go into this name and looking for a push back to 230s, which could easily be almost 8 points. Let's say 7 points. That's still a pretty decent outlook on the upside. All right. And I went after another tech name. I went after Intel off of their release today. And this was kind of getting the lift already after the CEO came out and said that the semiconductor giant is above the midpoint for its third quarter guidance. At this point, we say we're above the midpoint for our guide in Q3. So we're feeling good about the Q3 as that progresses. And this was said at the Deutsche Bank Technology Conference. So that's what caused the spike today in Intel. And as I was coming back here to the 35s, I said, you know what? I got to take at least a little bit of this trade. So I took there at least I got a little entrance there at 35.13 as this was coming back here to the 35s. And now I'm going to look to see if this could lift through the 35.50s. I was already liking this on the daily charts, and I'll show you guys what I was looking at. And we drew this line when? Created it on July 5th, updated it on August the 23rd. And that's why I love TC, just because it tells you guys the dates. So it's not like I'm cherry picking here. If you guys zoomed in on the screen right there, you guys can clearly see the dates that are drawn. That's the target now. The target is for it to come up towards that level and break through that level. We'll see what happens through 37. That'd be pretty cool to look and see that thing taking off there. So I've been playing this multiple times. And I think in the long run, Intel might come back and give us a little bit of some AI love. We'll find out. That's one thing that we got to look out for. But guidance is a good sign there. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action, and I'll catch up with you guys in the chat. I've gone through pretty much a lot of my trade action. I still got one or two more to kind of cover here. But if you guys see any stock that you guys want to talk about, go ahead and mention it. I know I've covered a lot here. Let's go back to the Qs. Let's see if we're getting that power hour rally. Are the Qs going to go and rip through the 379.40s? I'd like to see Apple continue now into the 189s. Can you get to the 190 spot today? Man, that wouldn't be a bad one there. It's still continuing to rise up almost 1.6% now on this position. Let's see it continue to push. We'll find out right here. Microsoft is another one. Let's see if this one wants to take back through 329s. This doesn't look too bad. What do I see? I see volume coming in here. That's something that I'm keeping a close eye on. Let's see if it can start pushing. This looks pretty decent here as it starts to push higher. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily looks like it's trying to hold, make a push back through the 330s. I like how you're getting higher lows, and I'd like that trend to continue. I wouldn't want it to break tomorrow on Microsoft. I'm looking for this to get back up there to the 335s, the 340 area. It doesn't look too bad as it starts to recover there. Big level to watch now is going to be the 333 levels. And if you ever go back through this bar here, this green bar, where you kind of exploded up, that's where a lot of times shorts can get stuck. If you go back through that level, shorts can add to that. But if you come through this 333 above, that'll be looking like a lot of the times the shorts will get caught. And I don't think there's too many people short Microsoft. So I'm just looking for more if buyers want to step up here and get Microsoft back to where it was. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. Now time to catch up with you guys in the chat. What's up, Raz? How we doing? Hammer. What's going on out there, guys? Marty Wood. But there's a deal between Amazon and Shop. Yeah, there is a deal between Amazon and Shop. Raz asked me if I got Shop, and nah, man, I wish I would. We were talking about it, and both of them actually. I mean, Amazon, really kind of was one that I had yesterday, and I actually got hit in it. So you know how it goes sometimes. I always like to take these small stop outs early because really what I'm looking for is a stock like Apple. When it starts getting into this position of strength, where Apple's far from my entry and I can just let it work, it doesn't make me feel stressed. That's what I'm always looking for. Hammer asking a good question. What's dragging the DIA down? Money Mitch. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look. That's why I really like TC because it makes it real easy for me. All I do is look up the DIA. I do it from the change from the open, and this is how we'll find out what's dragging it. So let's take a look to see if there's any industries or sectors that show up consistently here. So on down stocks, what I'd look for is any theme here showing up. So the first one is UNH, healthcare plan. And if I see here, healthcare plans are down pretty strong right now. They're down about 2.7% out the gates here. And you see what? You see a sea of red there. So that's an area I would avoid right now. Healthcare plans. That does not look good. If anything, I'd be looking for short side opportunities. But it was such a negative day today that I would have to wait for some bounces. And there was some really bad action here in multiple names, like even CVS. You can see that going down. Let's go back to the DIA. Let's take a look at the next one. You get CRM. CRM pulled back a little bit. Of course, this one is even green overall, but down from the open. Then you look at Boeing. That pulled back. That's more of an industrials. Industrials are down today, right? And if you look at what Boeing is, it's an aerospace and defense. Aerospace and defense is also down for the day. But does this look too bad? No. Aerospace and defense is actually an area that I'm looking for some names to maybe get hot, like Lockheed Martin, RTX to come back and fill the gap. You can see that here with RTX starting to work its way back. Lockheed Martin just hanging around the 450s. This loves to just hang out. I've been seeing so many recent military deals. I just saw another one just yesterday on RTX. And with that being said, I thought that maybe it could close the gap back to 95. And that just seems to me like good risk and return off of this kind of turning action. So you guys see right here around this level, this 84.50 level, that looks interesting for me. I see a lot of bottoming off there. So it gives me at least what? Good risk to return, where let's say if I'm risking this small box, but being able to go ahead and fill this gap back to the upside, I don't know about you guys, but that looks like good risk to return for me. All right, let's keep going. Let's go. You asked a great question. And I think this is important because this is how people find if there's certain areas that are really hitting us. Credit services. Well, I've talked about how the bankings have been starting to get worse. Let's take a look at credit services today and see what actually got hit there. Well, you see Upstart pull right back down a little bit here, and that's just a sign there that you are seeing a little bit of a downturn. SoFi pulled back a little bit. American Express is the one that we were looking at, and that definitely got hit. So you got to be careful here. There's some other names, of course, you guys can look at. I'd go usually what? High cap names and take a look there. Visa. That turns around a little bit there today, and that looks a little bit scary. Off right here, this looks like a really kind of turn kind of candle. So let's see if it comes back to the 9 EMA and can catch the bounce. But also Capital One Financial doesn't look good either. So I would be careful with this American Express. It looks like it wants to go lower, and that's in the credit services. So we could see some issues going and presenting itself in those credit services. All right, so there's another area that we can see, and what do we see? We see JPM. So where's the weakness showing? WBA, a pharmaceutical retailer, very close to. And now we're getting into defensive names. If defensive names are going down, why? Because a lot of money went right back quickly to growth names and tech names. You don't want to be in defensives when everyone's thinking maybe tech gets a bounce. Defensives are usually used for that term, right? Defensively trying to get into a position. This doesn't look good for Coke. This looks like it wants to come back down, and it's tried to come up here to 64s multiple times. Just can't do it anymore through 62. So we could be coming towards a next layer. I see 59 and 58 in reach. Even for the short side, I'd keep this on watch. Disney doesn't look good. This looks like it wants to come right back down. I've talked about how I don't like Disney, and the next stop for me is 80. Nike looks like it wants to come right back down. It did get a little bit of a bounce, but this doesn't look that good either. Then Caterpillar, that's one that looks a little bit better to me. And I've talked about Goldman Sachs, how this doesn't look good in the banking situation. We'll see if this can get back to 333s, but shows me what? What are the stocks here that are showing up that are down big? I'm seeing a lot of banking. I'm seeing defensives. People don't want to be in growth names. And I'm also seeing healthcare plans and pharmaceuticals, retailers that are not doing well. So those are the areas where I see trouble, Hammer. And I'm glad, I don't know if you enjoyed me going through that, but that's how I find plays. Literally what you just saw me do is how I find plays all the time, guys. So I hope you guys can learn from that. Wally asking, what is the IWM? IWM, man, the Russell 2000, right? And look how this kind of turned around, right? It's tried multiple times to get through that 200, and it's trying to come back through this 190. But we just got to keep an eye on it. Usually, I look at the IWM also to see how these smaller names are moving. Like right now, Microvast, and man, my boy, Carl. Oh man, should I put Carl on blast here? Let me see. Let me see here. All right. All right. You know what? I don't like to do this to a friend, but why not? Let's do it, guys. All right. So you guys see that, like, I always try to talk and tell you guys exactly what I'm seeing out there. So I like to show my transparency sometimes, guys. Let's see. Let's see if you guys can read this on the phone. All right. So what does that say, guys? I bought MVST. And what time does that say? Yesterday at 126. Check out the chart. Ready to move up. I said, yeah, lots of people looking for risk assets. Let's see if it holds. All right. So you guys just got the insight. And that was from my friend Carl. So shout out to my man Carl in the chat. And what happens today? Look at this move, man. The top move in the IWM, NVST. My boy, not a bad little call. I got to give it to him. That's not a bad one there, right? What do you guys think about that? You guys enjoy that? Hey, that's how you know it's real sometimes, guys. And you guys know exactly that I try to keep it transparent with you guys about what I'm seeing. And I'm going to have to call him later to let him know, like, hey, Carl, even you were on the show today. I had to mention it. Killer trade in Microvast. I'm sure he still has some, but really nice move there. 11%. Hey, 11% in one day. Normally for me, I'd go ringing the register, but I'm not going to tell him what to do with it. It's just more to show you guys, hey, if you guys ever want to talk stocks with me, if you guys ever want to talk about moves, that's what I'm all about, guys. I love talking stocks. I talk stocks all the time, guys. People call me. We talk about some positions we're looking at. And it's not about judging each other's positions. It's more about understanding and maybe talking about what I'm seeing in the current environment. And you guys see it. I just told them as simple as that. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people go for some risk assets, especially yesterday. Maybe playing some of the tech rally, right? We'll see what happens here. Well, that's another reason why I asked even Mark Chaikin that question this morning. Is it growth that we should be looking at? Not a bad one there. Adobe, man. Oh, this is one that why you got to bring up one that I cry about in bed sometimes, Marty. Why you got to do that? Adobe, man. Nah, I'm just playing. But I still remember here, guys. I still remember it, man. Right there is when I mentioned Adobe was an AI play. This just looks great, guys. Like, honestly, Adobe's one that AI is a real thing for, right? Generative AI for Adobe products is definitely going to be a plus. And I think that in the long run, Adobe will find even better ways to use generative AI than most. So I think this is just a pure winner in AI. Now, the question is, where can I join the party? That's the hard part, really. I think this 500 gave us another opportunity. I even went for a small short when it went through the 500. And I also said, hey, if it comes back through 500, though, be careful because this could be a monster. And there it goes. It just keeps pushing. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on, and definitely hit the like. I hope you guys enjoy me being transparent today and taking time from you guys and actually answering your questions, because that's what it's about here also. All right, guys. So I did want to let you guys know yesterday I took a little bit of pen, right? Keeping an eye on it here. I also took another a stock here in the gaming casino play. I took MGM today, guys. And the reason I took this is because I see other names kind of lifting off here, like Win. Win had a nice little push here today, and it's starting to push back above 100. I wanted to play this one yesterday, but wasn't able to get it. So I went after a little bit of MGM today and just want to hold off of the lows here. So the 43 area, I want to see if this can start pushing into the NFL season, maybe start working its way back to 47. That wouldn't be a bad outlook, right? We're talking about 6% higher. That could be a nice little trade just there. It doesn't need to go all the way back to 49 or 51 for me. A good move would be right there back towards this resistance, and I could take some profits into like the 46.50 area. I won't be mad at it. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to the SPY. The SPY getting a little reddish here. Yeah, a little reddish to the close, a little fade into the last couple of minutes here. And that's all coming off the bigger stocks, right? Look how the Qs gave that trap to the upside here too. And I can't blame it because it was a little bit trappy, right? We can take a look here. So this is how I was seeing the market earlier on the 5-minute. On this rally, we should have kind of held and gone through the resistance, going through the intraday highs. Instead, we come back to test support. And what do we see also coming down as of late? Well, we saw utilities go down, industrials pull back on that. Those are kind of the value names. Defensive pull lower on that. Energy even kind of turning back to the upside here. One thing I did see, I saw WTI finally cross the 82, which is something we've been talking about here for now, I think, weeks. It's at 83.50. Oh, yeah, this looks like a nice little dip opportunity in oil names. As you see this start to push back here towards the close, I'm even feeling a little bit of Chevron. Oh, let's do it, guys. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here. I'm taking some Chevron long here. I just grabbed it right there at 161.12s. I'm going to hold off the 160 or just underneath this 159.91 and look to see if this can get back to 164. It just looks good. And it's been bunching up for so long. Now I can at least have a good level to go off of. I've taken this before. I see the oil games pushing right now. I'm going to take a shot. We'll see what happens. Employment tomorrow at 8:30. Yes, that's going to be an important number, but I don't know. I'm not feeling too crazy about that. Was the economy news earlier good or bad? Yeah, that's the funny part. It showed that inflation is higher, but it's also about a tough estimate to kind of match up year over year. But it didn't also show an insane amount of spike. It did show that kind of like buying goods, inflation rose a little bit. So, I mean, that's something that we've seen already, though. Retail stocks are not staying strong. And that's one thing that I would keep an eye out for. Be careful for those retail kind of trappy names like Best Buy is working back, right? Do I feel like Best Buy is going to have the best holiday time this year? Not really. Take a look at even if the Dollar General store is struggling, and it came back some today. So I feel like in the long run, if we get another short day, this will be a nice opportunity. But I don't know, guys. Retail is not probably where I want to be. I want to be in maybe some tech names, some energy names. I can look to see if the financials keep going lower. We'll see what happens there. That's definitely something to keep an eye out for. But right now, it's going to be all dependent on if some of these bigger names can hold, right? Look how Apple went there towards 189, almost got there to 190 today. So I almost filled the gap, but not enough yet. And it could turn back around and go to 185. So will I let this go back through my entry? Probably not, but I'm looking for a bigger move. I'm looking for 190s and eventually 200. So we just got to keep an eye out for it. Today, Okta pulling back some. That doesn't look too bad as it did get a nice little pop out the gates. Now it's been holding. This is a name that I could keep an eye out for. And I'm going to keep watching a lot of these, right? I think they're setting up. We just got to keep an eye out for it. Oracle had a nice little pop, right? On a little bit of a pullback. Doesn't look too bad. I like how Mark Chaikin said today that he's looking for tech, maybe even if it does do another pullback, that he'd be looking to buy the dip. Me too, at the end of the day. The only thing that can change this up is more banks just getting destroyed. So if we see JPM, start coming back to 140 and keeps getting hit, that's where we got to start being concerned. So those are the areas that I'm watching for concern. But other than that, I feel like it could be, if financials get a little bit of a rip up, techs could go with it. So that's why I'm taking some shots in Intel. Intel not looking too bad. Apple, I'm taking a shot. Chevron, we got a position. American Airlines, I'm still in this bad boy. We got Penn and MGM. And we also got CRM, Salesforce, off of that pullback. We'll see what happens in Salesforce. That one, I might actually cut it, maybe even in after hours. I'll let you guys know in the morning. I'm just going to keep watch on it because I wanted this one to get back to the VWAP at least. It still hasn't shown that. So you got to be careful when you're catching a little bit of a falling knife. All right, guys, it's going to do it for us. It's 4:01. I went a little bit of extra. Raz wanted to take a look at Meta. I did take a look at Meta earlier, but I'll just take a quick look for you. Meta, to me, it's all about if we can get back above 300. If not, this could be a little bit of a wick kind of trap. And so really close back above this line is what I'd want to see if I was a bull. So close back towards 300, above 298.50s. If not, you could come right back and kind of test there towards this lower 288s. And then this could be a little bit of a trap candle higher. What I mean by trap candle, you see a wick where you see like it's going to go beyond, like you get this opening action and then you get a little trap action. And then it's been using that as resistance right now, this 298.46. You got to be careful. You need to recover this tomorrow. If not, it could go lower. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Like always, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the transparency today. Even me showing you guys, even my text messages. Carl's going to kill me for that one, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. Definitely smash the like. It's been a great day. Not a bad shot. I took some shots today. And of course, tomorrow will be that kind of day where I could easily close up a bunch of these positions. If I start seeing the market turn against me, I'm usually quicker than late. I would rather be going down to low exposure than stay in high exposure. Right now, I'm in decent exposure. 7 items in the swing trade account right now. What I do with that is always watch. The market needs to kind of stay strong here, because if it does go against me, yeah, maybe my oil name will go up, but a lot of these other ones will come down. And I need to catch that really quickly to cut the losses small. And then I can always come back in the names. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Hit the like always, smash it up. Thank you for being here, guys. Like always, we live to trade another day. Be well, all, and stay safe out there. You just missed that Apple trap. Yeah, it was a pretty decent trap there, looking like it wants to get through there, that 190. We'll see what happens. Hit the like button and keep it going, guys. Right here, you know it. Benzinga, of course.